Turkey 49, throwing down with Guild Wars 2 before I start off. Notice going through the character selection screen, you can see world completion, getting close to 60%. Got all three of my orders in. Got Tiger rank in PvP, rank 40, oh yeah. So things have definitely been going good, exploring a lot of things in the game, taking care of business. Still haven't got that legendary item yet though, but I'm working on it. Got to get my 100% world completion. Oh boy, that's gonna be, oh, it's intense. But you know, you got to do what you got to do. I gotta say, over the last month or two, holidays and all that's over. Haven't had a video in the last few weeks, but I have to say that Guild Wars 2, more I play it, more I like it. I've been playing it now, well, ever since, what, late August, so September, October, November, December. So I've been playing for about 4 months solid, straight, whatever. And I gotta say, the more I play it, the more I like the game. There's just a lot of content there, like a world completion thing being an example. World PvP, that's fun, or you can go do tournaments, or you could go do hot join. I prefer hot join PvP myself, and that's more what I scale my builds towards. But yeah, and then joining all three of the orders. I gotta say, out of all the orders, I think it's called Order of Whispers. I don't remember the names too well, but it's kind of the thiefy, dodgy, FBI-ish of the three. They definitely have the funniest stuff. I gotta say, out of all three orders, that one's definitely the funnest. Real quick, I wanted to talk about my warrior, and then I'll talk about some guardian stuff. I wanted to say that the builds I'm going to be talking about are linked in the description of the video below. That way you guys have some hard data to go off of. Last few videos I didn't bother linking any builds because everything was still kind of in shift, still trying to figure things out. But the new warrior build, now most people would say, well, this is pretty cookie cutter because you're going great sword, axe, shield. And I agree. For the most part, it is a cookie cutter build. But it's a cookie cutter build with a twist. So what I'm doing, and I talked about this last time, is I'm going 30 down strength, 20 down arms, 20 down discipline, and on the 30 strength I'm getting Berserker's Might because of the recent changes in the December patch where you only need 5 stacks of Might to activate Berserker's Might instead of 6 previously. Combine that with your ultimate, which gives you 5 stacks of Might, means you can basically fill up your adrenaline bar over a couple of seconds, which also, when combined with certain traits, like I said, I've already talked about all this, gives you some pretty massive DPS. So I'm going to actually have a link in the description to this warrior build, and I have over 1,000 games with my warrior finally, so I can, feel a little bit more like an expert on the warrior. Although, to be fair, the vast majority of my experience is in hot join PvP. Oh yeah, I've played some tournaments here and there, but I feel like there's just better professions to be playing in tournaments than a warrior. Warrior just doesn't seem to fit too well. But what do I know, right? Maybe warriors are like the most amazing thing since sliced bread. I don't know because I don't really play tournaments that much. The next thing I wanted to talk about was my Guardian. I've been playing Guardian over the last several weeks, and now that I have more than 100 games with my Guardian, and I've kind of refined the build a little bit, I feel more comfortable talking about the build in a little bit more detail. And like I said previously, there will be a link in the description to this build. So you're going to get the Warrior build, and you're going to be getting this Guardian build. As you can see from the intro in this particular commentary, it definitely makes people rage. That guy was so mad. Oh well. So the build's pretty simple. I go 30 down Zeal, 20 down Honor, and then 20 down Virtues. In Zeal I get Fiery Wrath, Great Sword Power, Zealous Blade. Going 20 down Honor I get Superior Aria. Basically your shouts recharge 20% faster. And then Two-Handed Mastery, which is the 9. Then Virtues is Retaliatory Subconscious, which is 4. And Indomitable Courage, which is 10. So all these things, you can kind of tell where I'm going with this. It definitely lends itself to not only the Great Sword, but other two-handed weapons, cough, cough, hammer, and staff. And with shouts, you can once again see kind of where I'm going with this. For the heal, I like to take Signet of Resolve. For my utilities, I take Retreat, Stand Your Ground, and Hold the Line. All three of which are shouts, and all three of which have ridiculously low cooldowns because of going 20 down Honor and taking Superior Area. And then for my ultimate, Renewed Focus, what I've always taken, definitely my favorite. I don't really like the books. I don't know, just never really liked them too much. For runes, this is new. This is cold turkey cutting edge right here. And remember that this is definitely a hot joint PvP kind of thing. But for runes, I take runes of superior speed. You say, runes of speed? Nobody does that. Well, listen. 165 vitality, which is good for a guardian because guardians have low health, high toughness. And some people say, well, what's the difference? Well, vitality is your hit point pool, toughness is your damage reduction. Remember that conditions like poisons or bleeds do not get stopped by toughness. They go straight against your hit points, which is why I think having a little extra health in PvP is handy because you're going to be fighting a lot of conditions. Anyway, the other cool thing about Runes of Speed is that all swiftness durations are 20%, and all swiftness has plus 7% move speed. Normally, swiftness is 33% of your movement speed bonus. Well, with Runes of Superior Speed, now that's plus 40%, and you get 20% extra duration. So you can kind of see where this is going. When you look at what this does with, for instance, your retreat shout is now going to have 28 seconds of swiftness, and that 28 seconds will be plus 40% movement speed. And not to mention that retreats on a 48-second cooldown because of your trait choice, so you'll be able to do that a lot. And if you have staff, symbol of swiftness, 12-second cooldown, you're going to be getting 12 seconds of swiftness with Runes of Superior Speed, which means you, if you have a staff, can be permanently moving at plus 40% movement speed. GG. You'll be zooming across the map, man. You're like a race car. It's pretty awesome. Soldier Amulet, Soldier Jewel, Power, Vitality, Toughness, which really matches with Zeal, Honor, and Virtue, Zeal being power. And then Sigils, I like to go Sigils the Superior Force. I talked about this in my last commentary because I think my critical hit chance is like 4%. This build has absolutely no precision at all. If you have no precision and you have a bunch of power, you definitely want to look into getting Sigils the Superior Force. And there was a post out there where this guy did the math. It was really long, and it was a really awesome post, and I wish I remembered the URL, but I don't. But yeah, if you don't have any critical hit chance, and you don't have any critical hit damage, and all you have is power, go with Sigils Superior Force on your weapons if you're looking for that raw damage output. So what is this Guardian build all about? Well, as you can probably tell, it's not really a traditional Bunker Guardian build, and it's kind of oddly moving more towards mobility. And that's sort of the key of this build, is you're actually playing a mobile Guardian. Now, I prefer to run around with great sword and hammer, and then I keep my staff in my inventory in the lower left. Now, some people will say, whoa, 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 hold on, Cold Turkey. You can't do that in tournaments anymore. You can only swap out items in Hot Join PvP. Yes, you are correct. If you're going to be playing this build in a tournament, I would just say, why are you playing this build in a tournament? If you're going to be playing a Guardian in a tournament, you want to be more a traditional Bunker Guardian. Being a roaming greatsword, hammer, staff Guardian in tournament play, I don't know. To me, that doesn't make sense. Like I said, my experience with tournaments is limited, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this new Guardian build is revolutionary and they'll be using it in tournaments for eons to come. I doubt it, though, because this build is making your Guardian mobile, extremely mobile. You can get around the map incredibly quickly. You can jump gaps with your Great Sword's number 3 ability, which is really handy in Battle Kilo when you got to jump from the window to the center of the clock tower. So this build is kind of taking the weakness of Guardian, the weakness being you don't have that great of mobility, and making it so you actually have really good mobility because you have plus 40% movement speed, effectively 100% of the time if you have your staff out, pretty close to 100% of the time if you don't. So yeah, you'll be zooming across the map, and with the great sword and the hammer, once you get to a point, you can do some damage because you have so much in power. You have a very steady DPS output over time. You don't really have a lot of burst like a Thief or a 100 Blades Warrior would, but that's okay because you're more tanky. You're more durable. You can sit on that point for a lot longer, especially with your renewed focus. You can, know when to activate your Aegis and then use renewed focus to block big attacks, and that can be really tricky. It's kind of like dodging. You got to know what's coming. You got to read the animations of your opponent and say, uh-oh, that's going to be the big attack. I better block that, and know what keys to hit and when to hit them. And once again, I'm not perfect at this. I'm definitely far from it, but it's something I'm learning as I play the Guardian more and more. The Guardian, to me, seems like a thinking man's kind of profession in some situations because of your Aegis, and you can block some abilities some of the time. So you got to really read your opponent and know what to block, when to block it, versus when you would do a normal dodge. And then you have your hammer, which has a good amount of CC, knockdowns, knockbacks. Your 5 creates that little bubble that forces people out. One trick you can try to do is you try to get somebody when they're really, really close to you, and you actually hit your number 5 with your hammer so that when the shield comes up, they're like right in it, and they'll just keep getting knocked down. They'll get knocked down like 2 or 3 times in a row. I've had that happen to me, and it is incredibly frustrating because it locks you down for several seconds, and if you're a thief, you're dead. It's so brutal if you can just get them right in the edge of the shield and they can't quite get away because maybe their utilities are on cooldown. But you could say that when your utilities on cooldown, a lot of things will kill you fast. But anyway, hammer, yeah, lots of CC. Great sword, that's more your primary weapon with this build. Some people say, well, I don't want to take great sword power and zealous blade. I want to take different things if I go 30 down zeal. Hey, go for it. If you do that, take hammer and staff, do something different. That's cool. I just like the great sword because it has a lot of steady overall DPS, which works really well with the high power, what I'm going for with this build. And then on top of that Zealous Blade, you get the heals with the Great Sword. Helps you stay a little bit more stable long term. But if a thief is going to burst you down and you don't see it coming, or 100 Blades Warrior's there to burst you down and your cooldowns are off, yeah, you're dog meat. But anyway, yeah, that's the Guardian build. It's kind of a roamer, swiftness Guardian build. Definitely not what you would call standard. I've been having a lot of success with it. Typically, I finished first place in most matches. Now, obviously, everybody's got bad matches. You win some, you lose some. And sometimes I do fight opponents who are better at PvP than I probably ever will be. There's definitely some really good players out there. But if you're looking at trying Guardian and you want to try something a little bit different than the standard boring bunker builds, although I guess some people might find bunker exciting, I don't. And all the people I know who play the game don't. But anyway, just give it a shot if you're interested in trying out the Guardian. It's a little bit different, and you definitely have to remain active on the map, be running around, looking for things to take, capturing points, going to places to pick up buffs, or maybe to kill Spawnier or Chieftain, things like that. So you gotta be active. You can't just stay in one spot with this build. But I think that's really what's fun about Hot Join PvP, especially 8v8 Hot Join PvP, is it's so random and chaotic. It's really fun because you can run around and do stuff. Whereas, 5v5 tournaments, I don't know. They just strike me as a little bit boring. But that's definitely a personal opinion. I'm a Hot Join PvP kind of guy, and I'm loving it. Now, like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm also trying to get 100% world completion. I've got all 3 of my orders down. I just passed rank 40 in PvP. I've been doing some world PvP. So I'm really enjoying Guild Wars 2. I'm having a lot of fun playing it, and I've been playing it for over 4 months now, and it's been pretty fun. I've also got a few other people into the game, which is kind of cool. Well, maybe not new people, but I guess they transferred to my server so they could throw down with the turkey. But they weren't really playing until they transferred, so I guess maybe a return factor on that. But yeah, so that's what's been going on, and normally this is where I would say, this is Cold Turkey, thanks for watching, haha, which I did just say. But I also want to say, if you're watching up to this point, thank you for watching this commentary, and if you're a subscriber, thank you for being a subscriber. I don't put ads on my videos, I don't force people to subscribe by putting in big obnoxious subscribe and click here buttons, and I'm probably never going to do that because, well, I think it's kind of lame. But if you're a subscriber, if you're watching till now, thanks a bunch. Cold Turkey 49 appreciates it, and hopefully in 2013 I'm going to be trying to make videos more frequently. Hopefully I can get back on the saddle, so to speak, and be making a commentary roughly every week. Now, this is definitely not a promise, no promises, and maybe I die of a heart attack tomorrow and there's no videos anymore at all. Who knows what'll happen? The world's a crazy place, all kinds of things are happening. So hopefully we can get some more regular content out there, and yeah, I guess I'll say it anyway. This is Cold Turkey. Thanks for watching.
You lost the waterfall.
Time to head out, is it? Time for me to get pretty. Let's see if Lady Wee's magic is as good as she says. Burn me, I'm a human girl. Whoa, I've got 2 hands and some lovely apples.
Keep your mind on the job, Tybalt. Go roam the city, and we'll see if the Ministry guards take the bait.
Bait, right. The order book passage in Demi's name on a ship called the Harpy's Smile. We'll head there and see what happens.